power cells charged. Let's see. It is Doomsday. Fair Doomsday to thee. Macaronic, good morning. Spurvis? Oh yes, they do. The Harkonnens are not the best. Folks. Marble? Morning. Giving folks a chance to filter in this morning as we're waiting. I'm looking for a little bit of copper to I hate when this happens, when it says there's some nearby and there is not that I can find, or it's too deep. I haven't been able to figure out in this game if the little chunks of things respawn or not. Dr. Sophia, good morning. Oh. Ah, there's some copper. I need a little bit of copper to make some signs before my storage situation gets out of hand. Tebow, how you doing? Ah. Damn. Worthless titanium. Ah. Oh, there's a little bit. I'll try to get 2 more. So how'd we like the reading this week? We got 4 major bits to get through. Four major sections, chapters? Yeah, that's fair. Though their layout may be different depending on what book you have. I think a way they shorten that mass market paperback, that dense little one, is by combining the chapters into heading, like eliminating the blank space between the chapters. I hope the weather is treating everyone okay. I know it is a time of uncertainty with regards to all that, but it seems like the terrible storms are not as bad as was feared. As bad as they had the potential to be. Well, when you hear a quote, when you hear an epigraph at the start, that's the best indication that there's that means you're in a new chapter. That's the big hint. Let's see. Ooh, grav trap. I don't need that. Wait, I do. I don't have that. I don't think. Oh! Thank you, Sea Monkey. Neat. Audiobooks are tricky for chapters. Unless the book specifically writes, like, chapter 26. It can be hard. I figured sign making would be a nice, easy activity for me to split my ADD between as we're discussing stuff this morning. Let's see. Just for the start. Names here for doing good. Good. Oh man. Titanium. Ah, copper. Come on, 2 more. How many I got? 6. I want to make 1 more sign. That means 2 more copper. Ah. Well, a little lead at least. 1 more copper. Ah, we ate manna in the desert. There it is. Okay. The quotes are the most important part. Let's see. Turn off that map. I never use the map that much. It's a little hard to conceptualize for me. Oh, I ranged out far in my copper hunt. Let's see. Ooh, a foggy morning up here. Peepers screeching. Our Cohen fog. Alright. Made some new trucks. Alright. Get in here. Let's get to it.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Alright. So, let's see. 325. We're now within the story. Book 2, Muad'Dib. Let's start with that opening. Let's see. One second. Okay. So, let's start with this opening. Alright. When my father, the Padisha Emperor, heard of Duke Leto's death and the manner of it, he went into such a rage as we had never before seen. He blamed my mother and the compact forced on him to place a Bene Gesserit on the throne. He blamed the guild and the evil Baron. He blamed everyone in sight, not excepting even me, for he said I was a witch like all the others. And when I sought to comfort him, saying it was done according to an older law of self-preservation to which even the most ancient rulers gave allegiance.
Seek fluid intake.
You seek fluid intake.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Ooh, my reclaimed water. He sneered at me and asked if I thought him a weakling. I saw then that he had been aroused to this passion, not by concern over the dead duke, but by what that death implied for all royalty. As I look back on it, I think there may have been some prescience in my father too, for it is certain that his line and Muad'Dib shared common ancestry. Crab meat, morning. So, yes, Memento Mori. So the Emperor doesn't like it. The Emperor doesn't like it. This is like the... We had a similar, hold on a second. We had a similar epigraph in at another chapter that implied that the Emperor loved the Duke. The part about, like, I realized then that the Emperor loved the Duke, wished he was his son, and hated the political necessities that made them enemies, I think is how that line goes. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. I'm gonna make some signs here. Yeah, so I think we're good. If we remember back to an early line, the letter that the Duke sent the Baron, there's a line that's like, he calls him, there's a lot of people calling each other cousin. It's an implication that all royalty here shares some relation. Are these both titanium? Yes. I'm gonna make a little sign to indicate that these are both titanium. Damn it. Shit. Oh wow, this is not easy. I keep trying to do the sign. In fact, it has the sign chosen. I guess I need to get this a little bit. Let's see. Son of a bitch. There we go. Use. Maybe if I now put this away, can I edit the sign? There it is. There, God, that was... Whew, okay. So, Jessica and Paul are in a tent. They fled. Jessica, I think we can tell, I'm sure you can tell, Jessica is basically ready to just drop. There's this imagery of her. We get a lot of resurrection imagery in this. Damn it! Come on. Why wouldn't that be? Yeah, there we go. Oh my God. Make this sign. Oh. Okay. What I'm getting here is that moving forward, I'm gonna have to do these. Let's do the sign. Do it in one. Stop. Put this away. Edit the sign. There we go. So, okay, now I can actually do this. All right. So there's this great line from Jessica. Paul is on survival mode. Jessica is in full-on grief. There had been a dream in this day's sleep, and she shivered at the memory of it. She had held dreaming hands beneath sand flow where a name had been written, Duke Leto Atreides. The name had blurred with the sand, and she had moved to restore it, but the first letter filled before the last was begun. The sand would not stop. This is Jessica and just annihilated by grief. This is like she's seeing that that's her, trying to keep the sand out. That's her trying to keep. That's the idea of keeping him alive, of refusing to accept. And then sand covering a written name. It's very, it's Ozymandias. It's all that. It's his legacy, which for a duke, his legacy is his life. It's his whole thing. Paul, however, by contrast, is really keeping his shit together. Paul gets her up out of the sand, brings her back, gives her a reason. She can live, she has her son. Let's see, just... I'm gonna grab a little, I'm doing my little sortings. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna make the sign first this time. Let's see, right here? Good. Quartz, and there we go. And I built the thing, and there we... Yes, let us not forget that Jessica is pregnant. It might come up eventually. Let's see. So it's not a long chapter. This little bit, it's basically just puts the. It positions the. We know where Paul and Jessica are at the end of that bit. We have 3 sections here that open with somebody trying to figure out what just happened to us, and end with those people being ambushed by Harkonnens. So, at the last chapter we had the run Paul, it's Harkonnens, and off they go. This one again, they have ornithopters above them. What is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And we later find out it's it's Duncan. It's just Duncan. Good old Duncan. We will not pour one out for Duncan. We will pour a Duncan out and drink him. For the tribe, for the water does not belong to the tribe, huh? Man's flesh is his own, but his water belongs to the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wonder if I'll ever get the ability to make gloves here. Alright. I want to head back to that place I found right at the end yesterday. Okay. Alright, because Jesus. I've been thinking about changing the I had the realization this morning that I could have named these the Tuesdays Spice Coffee with Cohen. And I may yet. We still have a lot of Dune to get through. Whew. So let's hit a quick overview. Okay, this first section has Paul and Jessica. We see them in the desert. Next section is Thurfir Hawat with the Fremen, and things are going great. And then what happens next? Things go so well for Hawat, and it's that Thurfir. That whole section is one of my favorite parts of the whole book, and has one of my favorite quotes, which we will get to here in a minute. The best. Oop. It's getting some food. Let's see. Which side is the front? Over here. Alright, position. Figuring out where that was. Yes! Nailed it. Alright. Altera ship 2. That's our goal. Yeah. So, before we get too deep into it, I want to talk about, there's definitely some history repeating stuff happening here. When Thurfir Hawat, we hear that he was at the city he was at, oops, the place he was when that fell, when it was taken by the Harkonnens, is called Carthag, with no G, just C-A-R-T-H-A-G, which is definitely a reference to Carthage, which was it was the Roman capital of, it was the capital of the Roman occupation concern in Africa that was famously lost at the Battle of Carthage. Yeah, Roman capital, exactly. 2, who's that? And then it was taken, it was the one that was destroyed rather than letting it fall into the hands of the Byzantine Empire, I believe. I think I'm getting that right. We hear the Byzantine reference to the Byzantines. Fremen basically calls capitalism the Byzantine disease. I think the Byzantine something to that effect. Where did I write that down? Yeah. The Byzantine Empire, the word Byzantine survives mostly as a synonym for confusing, for like a culture that is alienating to the point of inscrutability, which is an interesting, that's an interesting thing to have. Byzantine? Okay, whatever. It's specifically a non-existent. It doesn't exist anymore, so I'm gonna go with my pronunciation, just because I don't feel like changing it. I found this new ship yesterday. Oh boy. That's pretty much how it's. Yeah, it's like if they wanted me to get their name right, maybe they should have had a little more foresight. The Byzantine corruption, that's it. There's a really, really funny bit. One thing we get a lot in these chapters, in these particular sections, and the reason that we had a shorter one last time, a couple of times ago, was that we could get these chunked together. You get a lot of people refusing to learn from the lessons they were just taught. So, Thurfir Hawat realizes that he's like, oh, the Harkonnens the Harkonnens were more willing to spend money. Like he assumed that the attack from the Harkonnens would be like how such attacks similarly go. He underestimated what the scale would be. He had a lack of imagination about it. And almost immediately, there's a great quote: "The size of the attack, the entire spice income of Arrakis for 50 years might just cover the cost of such a venture. It might." He sat with his back to a wall. Exactly the same thing he warned Paul about. And what does the Baron say later? Anyone who runs it... No, the Fremen says to him, anyone who retreats into a cave with no exit deserves to die. Which is basically the same, it means the same thing. Don't sit with your back to any walls. What was the plan? To go sit with the back, to go to a place with no way back out. We hate to see it. I guess given the storage I have here, it might actually be worth picking these up. Plus they're nice. I like these really rusted pieces of salvage. They're an interesting contrast. Because it's an older wreck. All the salvage in the first game was relatively recent. Let's see. Oops. Stylish looking. Sorry, I have to make sure I'm not being attacked by a damn... Whew. But then Hawat immediately... He's like, oh, the Harkonnens beat us because I was unable to imagine... Oh, I forgot to put my little card up that blocks how many people are watching. I started doing that because I realized that I was letting it stress me out. It's just not a productive way to think about anything. Don't chase numbies, is what KC and I usually say. Ignore the numbies, just in everything. It's not productive when you make something to be focused by the minute to minute of how it's being perceived. Great. Anyway, dance with the one you came with, right? So Hawat is there. Oh, I know. Yeah, you'll get it. So Hawat is there, and he's like, "Oh man, our Harkonnens beat us because I failed to imagine how much money they would spend." Anyway, there was no doubt in his mind who had betrayed him. The Lady Jessica. She fitted all the facts available. One of the themes of Dune, as we persist, is going to be how dangerous it is to assume that you have all the facts just because... Ooh. There's no... It's like, oh, well... And the Fremen try to tell him this. They're like, don't assume... They keep saying things that are great, like, never assume you're the only people being hunted. Shit like that. Just, it's not... Yes, that's the parallel processing unit. Ooh.
Now I just need to build the test override module, and I can disable that satellite tower.
And I will. See if there's anything else in here, right in here. I don't know that there is. I think this might actually be it for this. I assumed this place was going to be as big as the other one, but it's not. Anything in here? Oh, sealed supply crate. These are new in this game. I dig those. Yeah, my character only speaks when I move the plot forward, which I don't do all that often. Ooh, I'll be eating rich on titanium tonight. grab some lithium, because if they're giving me a bunch right here, I'm probably about to need some. Morning, morning. Oh. Alright. There we go. Yes, Hagoronic, well spotted. There's a line from Hawat that outlines that. Let me see. He could see as a mentat that their communication was out of phase. Word sounds were not being linked up here in the normal manner. So at this point, we've gotten used to hearing. We start to get used to hearing about, oh, the body's water, the body's water, and as we remember that line, that bit where Jessica was like, God, that's a weird way to refer to blood. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Is this the abyss? Yeah, okay. 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 Goodbye. Goodbye. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, okay. I'm leaving. Message received. I guess I'm can go ahead and build that reactor rod and see whatever that disable that satellite. See what that's about. Ah. One of the running themes of the book is that living in a different cultures can use different words to use the same words to mean very different things. And how the people on Arrakis didn't know the word drowned. And not even like poor people, like they don't have a word for drowning. Or rather, the rich people do. We'll see later. If the Fremen have such a word, and why they might need it. Whew. So we get this long conversation, we get Hawat trying to explain, trying to talk people through it. Trying to figure out, and then once he gets it, he's like he's like, no, you don't, guys. Don't get upset. This is okay. This is cool that this is happening. It's cool, like, it sucks that our friend died, but, there's more going on here. Get the fuck out of here. That is some of what is happening in Hakurana. The other thing is, but even that, like that positioning that the Fremen is kind of testing him, I think what's really happening here also is just like, the Fremen guy just straight up does not get why you wouldn't render someone down for their water when they die. And, which Hawat understands as naivete. He's like, oh, they're so naive, these Fremen. Almost like children. But it's like, no, man, you're the naive one. They're the ones who live here. They're the ones who know how you survive here. It's pure practicality, and it's like, if something is done with ritual, if something is done... Ooh, lead. Gonna get some of that lead real quick. I'm also gonna fix my ship. Rituals are built to make... Yeah, exactly. We have rituals to make sense of. It's like, well, death is not something we can control, but we can control how we confront it. and the Fremen are people who think about how the Fremen might not like these particular Fremen that they meet might not encounter a lot of people from off-world. Remember that transport between planets is pretty strictly controlled, and they've lived under the Harkonnens for, I want to say, 80 years. So the idea of like people who are just brand new to their planet and their customs, and that's one of the breakdowns here, is that it's very easy for ingrained thinking and ingrained practices to be more limiting than you realize. You can think that, by the way, that why does Hawat go back to the lady? Why does he assume Jessica? Why does he go back to that? Because that was the last thing. Even though he knows they unfortunately it was the last conversation they had. So, oof. It's surprising how much happens in these little sections. Oh, hey, they ate a fish. Penguins are eating fish. I didn't know that the organisms interacted in that way in this game. Neat. Oh, how do you... now that I have the blueprint, how do I actually build that thing? I was arrogant and assumed I'd be able to just build it. Let's see. Oh. Gold, silver, ore, table coral. Easy. Detach here. Get some stuff. Let's see. Put a fish in here. Fish. Drink some water. Mike Moon, hello. I don't know if they've gotten in. I think it would be safe to assume that the Fremen had a Chris knife. Like it would be weird if he did.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Which is a great indicator of. Hey! Thank you for the follow. Culling Song. That is a grimly evocative name. I salute it. Okay, yeah, so they're watching. What happened was there were some Fremen in the sand. They meet up with these Fremen. They're like, first he sends his little bat to those Fremen to tell them that there's some Harkonnens / Sardaukar near. The Fremen intentionally do a bad job walking through the desert to allow the people to catch up with them, but they lead them to a place. There's a great line. It's like the desert sprouted Fremen. They lead them to a trap where they're surrounded, and they also lead them away from their helicopter. So then they get the helicopter. There's a great escalation of sacrifice where, like, he sends the bat and he's like, oh, I'll be sad to lose that bat. And I always think like, oh, I guess the bat's gonna die, but it wasn't until and I always just took that for granted, but it wasn't until this time that I realized it's like, oh, the bat, that didn't kill the bat, him sending it. He was just, the greatest compliment he can pay that bat is that One day, this thing will die, and I will miss it. I acknowledge that freely now. I love that. Gotta go see this. Got a gold and got a little silver. There we go. There's some spare lithium. Alright. And a table coral. Where's that? So he sends the bat, and then they're like, oh, only they get the helicopter, and then the guy just flies the helicopter right into the fucking troop carrier. He's the bat. Gold, silver. I love the Sardaukar because they show up and they're the toughest thing in the world for like 5 seconds in the story. They're like, oh, you better watch out for Sardaukar. Yes, Kimberly, yeah, respect for life. It's the respect of the sacrifice. Yeah, the ones, like, they surround the Sardaukar and kill him. And... Ooh. Yeah. Let me see. A great line from the Fremen guy. This is clearly a time for a water decision. Both wounded and unwounded must look to the tribe's future. This is sort of a metaphor for the larger story. Right, like right after... Oh. Hey, that's exactly... Name, that's exactly the question. That's exactly the question to ask. Why don't they see the Sardaukar coming? Because they're really tough. They're also very distracted with what they're doing. They're distracted with what are we going to do about these people who died? How are we going to deal with the water? It's the reason that they kind of linger there for a while. And it's not good that they do. It's the thing that gets them, oh shit, did I not actually load that into the pool? Whoops. Oh, I was still unloading it. They get tricked. They get overwhelmed. They get surrounded. They get overwhelmed. You hate to see it, but it does happen. Started loading water in here. Alright, did I get all my... Oh, nope. Not even close. There we go. Start keeping a spare power cell right there, so I don't forget where it is. Oh, nope. Whew. We hear about Liet a little bit in that. I think there had been there'd been like a few references to Liet before this. Liet knows, God knows. We later learned that Liet and Kynes are the same person, who I have been having to work really hard this entire time not to refer to as Liet Kynes, because that's generally how the character is referred to, like by Dune heads. So it has been difficult for me not to spoil that, and you're welcome. Liet is the Fremen name, Kynes is the Imperial name, is the city name. A concept we might become increasingly familiar with. Oh, exactly. I'll make another one on quantum lockers. I'd need an advanced wiring kit. I don't think I need to do that yet, although I will eventually. satiation. Ah, that's very good. Yeah. Okay. Let's get in. Let's go ahead and move to the sort of wrapping up this. Let's wrap up this little section in for our summary, and then we can get moving on. The format I've been kind of hitting for these is summarizing and some main points, and then general discussion. I hope that's been working for everybody. Put this away, crystalline sulfur. I'm slowly but surely building my storehouse here. Lithium goes here. I don't think I have any need for a reactor rod at present, but I am gonna. So I am gonna. But then I'm gonna go. We're going to the thing. All right. Got fishing stuff on my boat, on my truck. Kynes and Paul are great. Yeah. Kynes get, like, the Atreides cannot stop impressing Kynes. There's that. It's a testament to this damn book. It's so. I'm trying to think of another book that would have an entire chapter of, like, all this stuff with, like, Hawat talking to the Fremen and, like, oh, I guess he's gonna get to know this Fremen. I guess Hawat's gonna be hanging with the Fremen. It's very similar to Old Tuek, R.I.P. Let's see, chomp, chomp, slurp, chomp. There we go. Hawat gets shot with a stunner. They're only able to get him because he doesn't have his shield. Speaking of great characters being knocked off, let's move on to the next section. 352. Whew. This is one of the most. This is one of the clearest and most succinct descriptions of Paul's prescience and its limitations, and basically his motivations for the next rest of his life. So I'm gonna read it. Muad'Dib could indeed see the future, capital F, but you must understand the limits of this power. Think of sight. You have eyes, yet cannot see without light. If you are on the floor of a valley, you cannot see beyond your valley. Just so, Muad'Dib could not always choose to look across the mysterious terrain. He tells us that a single obscure decision of prophecy, perhaps the choice of one word over another, could change the entire aspect of the future. He tells us, the vision of time is broad, but when you pass through it, time becomes a narrow door. And always, he fought the temptation to choose a clear, safe course, warning, that path leads ever down into stagnation. I love that shit. I'm flipping back to another section. Yua's dead wife's Wana's favorite quote. Paul wet his lips with his tongue, read, "Think you of the fact that a deaf person cannot hear. Then, what deafness may we not all possess? What senses do we lack that we cannot see and cannot hear another world all around us?" A narrow door. Exactly. Oh. A narrow door. A cave without an exit. Anyone who goes into a cave without an exit deserves death. The Duke's men in the cave, the Duke's men who went into the cave, are absolutely representative of choosing a safe path. Choosing a future that they know and can see. Because they're like, oh, we'll go into the cave, and then we'll know where we are. We'll be in the cave. And then, what kills them? An antique weapon. Something from the past. Something that they couldn't. They're specifically killed by the thing closing in around suffocated. More than collapse. They are trapped in the cave to die. I'm trying to find my... Oh, I'm about to make myself throw up. I'm trying to look for my mean lady. Here we go. We get a lot of good loyalty stuff from Hall. We get Duncan. We get that. Duncan sets up the shield laser reaction. You know, keep that in mind, which is great because we'd seen the Harkonnens. It's like they had this artillery, and it's useful. It was so obviously useful. It was such a, and then the Baron's like, oh, that's, you know, we're not going to use that anymore. Like we get in the last chapter, it's like it was only good as a surprise. It'll never be useful again because everyone uses shields. Also, wild to me that the Baron, I mean, like, it makes sense that he would be on Arrakis for this, but I always forget he comes for the actual invasion. Like, I know that's crazy because because he's there when the Duke dies, but that bit where he and Ravan are there in the last bit, and it's like, oh, he's here. He's actually here, and he's so ugh. He's in. It describes him as like being in a big egg, and considering himself this like deadly carnivore, and everyone else are chickens. It's all dehumanizing language from the Harkonnens, even self-imposed. Like they don't even. Everybody's, you know, the beast, Raban. Ugh. Yeah, he's the big alien egg from Jimmy Neutron, exactly. I think is what Frank was getting at. Beast, bunnies, bees, bunnies, beast, hawks, chickens. There's something so good that stands in contrast to all that coming not too far from here. It's gonna be great when we get to it. Oh, I am not supposed to actually go see her yet. I am supposed to go turn off that damn signal. Hold on a second. Where was that? Dock of the Bay. This way. Yes. If I told him if I threw corn in front of him, he'd peck. The one good thing about the Baron, one of the good things is he's such a bitch. He's such a bitch. He's such a piece of shit. And it's one of those, he's so evil. He's so goddamn evil. Alright, Hackerana, have a good one. We're having a good Doomsday. Let's see. The contrast between... Oh, hold on. I decided that I never wanted to leave these half-parked because then the water looks like it's flooding in. Oh. Let me get my thermos. Use it. It has one single use, and I'm going to do it. There we go. Let's see. Duncan is setting up the shield laser reaction. It's like, oh, they're shooting us with lasers. Let's just put up, and let's just set up a shield so that when they shoot it with lasers, they'll die. Which is it's this innovation. He turns the risk of using a shield into a risk for his enemies, and after that, they are a little less likely to use lasers, laser guns. I love Duncan. There's that great line, keep your shield, Duncan. Your right arm is shield enough for me. Whew. Intense thing for a 15-year-old to say to you. I'll take that. Yeah, they're not able to do the laser suit to the sand anymore, and possibly not able to use them to shoot down Paul and Jessica later. Although they do try, because they're dumb. Alright. Oh, ah! Oh, I stood too close to the hot thing. There we go. Turning off this thing. The satellite surveillance. Surveillance. Here we go. Oh, almost forgot. Word of the day is consecrate. The word of the day today is consecrate. It's to make holy. Wait, where, did I not, hold on, am I not understanding this thing right? Oh my god, is the test module override a different thing? Yep, right. I need a titanium, a lead, and a copper wire. I forgot that the thing I made wasn't the actual finished product. Leah Cummings asks, like, what are you doing? Like, what is your actual goal here? Paul's like, oh, I'm gonna make this a fit planet for humans. Yep. Oh, what are you? You're a new friend. A discus fish. I love to discuss
New creature discovered.
this fish. Alright, running back to that truck. Still didn't need to use my thermos. I guess that makes sense. One day, buddy. Where's the truck? Okay. Luckily I have a fabricator here, so all I need is, I don't need much. Did I? Okay, well there's the titanium. What all do I need to make this thing? A lead and a copper wire. Okay, I need a lead and 2 copper. Let's hunt, shall we? That's gonna be gold, though. Yeah. That might be... that's gonna be silver. Whoa! Oh, shit, that's gonna be my death. I'm not careful. Here we are. That's one. Come on, copper. 1. Copper 2. Nope. Copper 2. To make this planet a fit place for humans. But what does that mean? Woohoo. There we go. Re-upped. What am I on the hunt for? Oh. Do you wish to dance? The Fremen have a mentality of yes, there we go. Alright, that's everything I need. The Fremen have a mentality that allows them to make sense of their world, but it's not a mentality that like, oh, it's gonna be great. One day. Arrakis could be a paradise. Well, Spurs, everybody we see is from Earth, if you take it far enough back. There it is. Test override module. Got it. So we don't know, like, the idea of native Fremen, but it's one. It's getting into those things. It's like I don't know if anybody else watched. Oh, I didn't want to clutter this. Watched Carol and Tuesday. But there's a whole thing in the second. It's one of those pieces of media that was very much made, much like the Purge election year, with the assumption that Trump was going to lose.
I am picking up the signature of an important item belonging to my people.
Okay.
I will share its location.
Okay.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
And then what happens? So they join up with Idaho. They go. It's those. I feel like it's always like a little bit mystifying, probably, to people the first time they read. Ooh, is this enforced? This is. Hold on. This is gorgeous. I wonder if this happens, like, automatically when you come up here with the test module. I feel like it's probably at least a little mystifying to people the first time they read, like, what that whole long conversation that Paul and is like the Duke had at that meeting about the Imperial geological test stations. It's like it's such an esoteric concept. It's like, okay, I guess he wants these bases, whatever. Seems weird to make such a big deal about it. I'm kind of having a hard time even picturing what the hell he's talking about. But now we see why they're so important. What a difference it would have made if they could have had this place outfitted with Triades men, or at least that's definitely the Duke's thinking. Like if they could have had like these like scattered bases all over the planet. But we also see why Kynes was unwilling to share these. Because it's like, oh no, he has his own people there, man. They're doing their own shit. There we go. Stick that test module in there.
Great. Now back to the terminal.
Thank you for that nudge. Test.
Do it. Please work.
I just got the pirate radio achievement. Alright. Oh. Uh-oh.
Yes. Satellite is down.
I am impressed. That was most resourceful.
Take a sip. Alright. Now we can go back and see the mean lady. Yay! My favorite character. Oh.
Alright, Altera.
Never mind.
You win this round. Come find me at my greenhouse. I'm about 1 kilometer east of your position up on an iceberg. I have a present for you.
I'll come by if I have time.
Sure, whatever. If you have time for me in your busy social calendar.
Alright, kilometer east of where I am. Ooh, getting some good photos. Let's see. Oh, I should be looking at this while I'm not standing in the snow waiting to die. There we go. So, ow. Duncan meets. Oh, I am being very flip with my health here. The addition of cold, of like body temperature as an additional resource to status to manage in this game, I think it was just what it was needing, because like if you're coming into this game having played the first one, it's like you're like, well, I've mastered depth and I've mastered somewhat not standing close to things that are too hot. I'll be fine. And then they throw a new thing at you. Keeps it fresh. Alright. Do some cooking. I heard a kilometer east. I don't need all of these. Is what they said. Let's try this. Go check it out. I want to see what her greenhouse looks like, but I wanted to see where that is probably going to be on the map. Let's see. Personal log, logs and communications. Maps. If I'm here... Wait, 1 kilometer east on the iceberg? Alright, I'll just head east. There we go. Jesus Christ, I used to... Alright. At about 1 kilometer east from my dock of the bay. Oh. There we go. It's hard to tell how far that is. I assume I'll see the iceberg. Fucking famous last, fucking Titanic War famous last words. So Paul wins Leah Kynes' loyalty. How does he do it? The same way he did with Duncan. For your loyalty, I offer my loyalty to you, totally. Keep your shield, Duncan. Your right arm is shielded if I'm moving. It's all the same. That looks likely. Far away is my dock of the bay. Oh. Say 1 kilometer or half a kilometer? Oh, it's right, there's a voice log. Kilometer east, okay. So further. Farther, not further. Farther this way. I think. There we go. Wish I'd saved my coffee. Oh. Is this a way up? Nope. Maybe I think I might be at this iceberg, which means I should probably head a little further east. I just had the very intelligent thought, I will just go under the iceberg. But actually, it seems doable. And there's definitely nothing extremely deadly hanging out under the iceberg. So, it's a good plan all around. Ah, yeah. Shark squid over there. Oh yeah, and this one has a little slope. Alright, let's see how far I am from... Okay. Is this the one I can actually climb up on, or is this... Oh. Alright. Whoa, okay, well... Alright, I'm gonna go one more, because I think I'm on the one that's... Okay, getting distracted. They meet Duncan. Duncan leads them to Leah Khan's. We get the realization from Jessica. It's almost offhand, but it's a huge deal. It's like, oh, this guy is like their... This guy isn't just the Imperial geologist. He's a Fremen. They even say later that he's taken a Fremen wife. The Duke had the observation that he had gone native, and that certainly seems to be true. Alright.
Mulan and nearby iceberg detected. A hollow chamber typically formed by glacial melt.
Oh no. That's like an actual... We have finally reached a thing in these games that are a specific fear of mine. Which is going inside an iceberg. A planetologist is like the guy, it's a planetologist is a fancy sci-fi word for ecologist. It is an evolution of the word ecologist that sees like the same way that ecologists see ecology as like a system of, you know, the system of stuff within Earth. A planetologist sees a planet as an interacting system. Systems are the big thing. It says there's a chamber inside this. understand that correctly? I might need to go back up and look. Paul says has his conversation with Kynes, where he impresses him so much, and he gets the good sire from him. Let's see, how far am I from Dock of the Bay? This is right at it, but you will address me as sire or my lord. And then he says, yeah, let's get that coffee. Where's that coffee coming? One of my favorite understated lines in the whole series. What is that specifically? I should have known when the coffee failed to arrive. I should have suspected trouble when the coffee failed to arrive. Whew. Huh. Such a great offhand, I'm not especially perturbed line. Wait, what? Oh, did I find it? Oh. Oh, it's beacons! Nope, creature eggs. Penguin eggs. Steal a couple of these. Uh-oh. Nobody click on those. We got mods here. Need mods. I can take care of it if we don't. What have I done? There we go. Don't click on those. Ah, there we go. Thank you, Poodle. Appreciate it. There has been a growing, what is the word I'm looking for? Not trend. Plague. Yeah, there it is. Ooh, loaded these days. There has been a swarm of spam bots and scammers and such. Some of which, there was the scariest thing I heard about it was that, like, oh, they'll you know, they, if you even look at the profile, then they'll like QR code your DNA or whatever. Some shit. Bad stuff. Whew. 200 bots, Jesus Christ. Like, were they there or just like known bots? Preemptively, good, okay. God, I love these big whales. Saving my life. Kynes sends them ahead. Leah Kynes sends them ahead. And there's... oh, laser cut. Okay, shit. Zuko. This is so fucking cool. This is Zuko trying to get into the North Pole. So I always bring all my tools everywhere. Diamonds and magnetite. This is really pretty. Before I start stealing it, maybe I should take a nice picture. There we go. I have a commitment this time to not getting to the end of the game and having put all my... Oh, flashlight, good idea. Oh, it's straight up like treasure. Diamonds and gold. I use it occasionally. It frustrates KC, for instance, but I'm just... I like the dark better than the light, for the most part. Kate is very patient about it, but it'll be... It's a sensory thing. It's a preference I have in real life that carries over into games. There we go. Focus on the diamond. I don't even need diamonds right now, but... Huh. I guess that's all that was here. I'm gonna be right back. Y'all give me just a second. Hey, I also like to read in the dark, except comics. His father was allergic to light? That's like some short story shit. Ooh, magnetite. Gonna need that eventually. It's like I can see in the dark. I can see everything I need to see. I think that might be a lot of it, is I can, for the most part, see just fine in most darkness. So light just becomes, something that's like well lit, it just becomes, I'm trying to describe it, it's like when music is too loud. It's like when like a song, like that's what it feels like. It just doesn't feel like anything else but that. It's like there is too much information here. It is definitely, at least in my case, it is an autism thing. Magnetite even if my inventory is full. Okay. It's enough in here. Now, time to definitely be able to find my way back out. Whoa, signal lost, okay. This way lies death. Now I'm just watching the one on the map. There we go. Bazinga. Yes, light allergy and albinism are, to my best of my recollection, different. I know that it's already been covered, but whew. So they run away, and we get one of my favorite sequences in the whole bit. It's the part where Jessica and Paul are fleeing through that. They're fleeing through that hallway where the lights are, like the arrows are appearing and disappearing, which is a great visual metaphor for Paul's prescience, for where it's at right now, for him seeing the future. He can only see like a little, he can only see the next bit, the next bit, the next bit, and he gets that moment where he realizes that he is in a future, that he's in a part of the future that he hasn't seen. And he's like, oh shit, I have been just following my own fortune telling. And it has led me into a dangerous place. It has led him into a cave. Although that door, like the second he goes in there, he's like, oh, there's a way out of this room. I can tell by the air currents. Good shit. Okay, should be about another, I guess it's a little bit further east. Almost to the greenhouse. When are we gonna get to the old lady factory? Oh. Plans within plans? Probably. I think so. Is this it? Let's just get it out there. Wait a minute. Let me up on there. My thing, okay. I should be there. I should be close. Is it there? Wait, there it is. I see it. I see a thing over there, I think. She did say it was on the iceberg. Likely? So they're fleeing to the arrows, and Paul gets to the thing. He's in the helicopter. He's in the ornithopter. He's got to ride the storm, baby. I said at the start today that there's a lot of resurrection imagery in this one.
Dangerous weather approaching. Seek shelter.
Oh no! I got rid of my sound alert because I had to. Damn! I got rid of the one that would have been perfect for that. Shit. Whatever. Paul knows how to fly these things because he was trained by Duncan, Idaho. Ornithopters are something that... Remember, the Duke was very, very good with his. And Paul's great. Paul's had tons of training at this specific thing. It should be right here. We are a kilometer east of that. There's an iceberg here. I can see something growing up there. Is it a go inside it thing? He flies the thing. He's gonna ride the storm. It's a metaphor for they go through the tunnel following the disappearing arrows, and then they hide themselves in the storm. Which is a metaphor for the confusion of everything that's happening. And then the last section for today. Oh, and the Kate is safely in the other room. Fucking tragically, we lose a great one. We lose Duncan, Idaho. The red blossom of death is. I know that a lot of people are whatever, but it's like, yeah, Duncan fucking bites it. Your right arm is shield enough for me. And he let him keep his shield, and if Duncan had not had his shield in that fight, he would have been he would not have been able to defend them long enough for them to. This looks pretty likely. Am I going to be able to get my truck through here, or is this just a hole in the iceberg? This is useless to me. Excellent. Maybe I can climb the iceberg from this side. Oh yeah, that looks better. That looks more. Whoa, shit. Whew. My mug. I forgot what I was doing. Alright. Oof. And then the best part of the whole section is we get a big... Best part of the whole chapter, the whole thing this time, is we get a big nasty barren chapter.
Dangerous weather approaching. Seek shelter.
He's in bed, the guy comes in, he's like, they're certainly dead. Oh, they are certainly dead. Well, if there's one thing, he repeats it twice. He says the words, like, certainly...
This artifact could provide useful information.
Artifact.
Processing. I can visualize a location where we may find an important component for my body. The image is hazy, but I am sure it is correct. A stark surface landscape, dangerously cold. Curved spires stretch to the sky.
Okay. This does not seem to be where the greenhouse is. Boy, I hope that's water. Okay. Ah, thank God. Extremely cold water will save me. Name, you know this game pretty well. I'm just gonna throw this to you. Am I looking in the right part of the map for this thing? At least. Like, the right general, like, continent? That's cool. Dockish area on the side one. That is a good tip. Thank you. That is exactly the kind of thing I needed. Thank you. It's that long. It's exactly that long. Oof. Start of that section is very good. What do you despise? By this are you truly known? Which is a callback and a whoa, what are you? Pinnacard? Are you a combination of a penguin and another thing on this? See that indigent? I want to see that guy. Fauna. Herbivores small. No. Herbivores large? No. Carnivores? Pinnacard. Oh, it's friendly. Neat. Looks like a combination of the penguin and the other thing. The Harkonnen, the chapter from the Baron, it's like even when he's winning, even when he's absolutely like, just absolutely wiping out his enemies, he is so unhappy, he is so stressed out all the time.
How do humans cope with the loss of memories?
Like forgetting someone's birthday? I don't know, it just happens.
When you die, some quantity of knowledge is lost forever to the next generation. Isn't that?
I'm warning you, if you call humanity inefficient one more time, I will swim us both into the mouth of a Leviathan.
Is that sarcasm? I am still having trouble differentiating.
How inefficient?
Efficiency aside, does the loss of knowledge not create complications?
Unless
Well,
they do their thing.
On a personal level, losing someone can be traumatic. But it's harder to process the idea of generational knowledge. Humans aren't networked, so we can't even be aware of what we're losing moment by moment. We try to learn from history. Maybe it's not ideal, but it's what we have.
What happens when you no longer have the memories of others to combine with your own?
You make your own memories and interpretations. You have to experience life as an autonomous being. Discover yourself.
That idea is foreign to me.
Interesting. Yeah, they're all like the species is seems to be a like he's like, you know, it's not just me in here, and she's like, I don't want to think about that. It's not just that guy though. It's like you remember the Geth? Everybody's favorite concept from Mass Effect, the Geth. I love the Geth. He's like that. Shit. Is there a thing on here that shows? I have a feeling it's this one, you know? Like this is the one that looks the most likely. It looks like it has a little thing on it, but maybe I'm a fool. Oh, morning show. You cannot see yourself on the map, which I'm glad of. Honestly, I think that would absolutely destroy a bunch of cool stuff about this game. But I think I know my general position. I was trying to count the icebergs. I'm just gonna try to circle around some of them. Eliminate them as I... It's okay, this is, at the moment, this is like a perfectly decent thing to be doing. Whoops, sorry. There's a great line from the Baron here. One must always keep the tools of statecraft sharp and ready. Power and fear, sharp and ready. Which is such a great contrast with what Paul said in like the previous chapter, that for your loyalty I offer my loyalty completely. It speaks to the fundamental difference between Harkonnens and Atreides. How they see the world, how they see other people. It's a love versus hate type sitch. It's the power of love. I feel like I've gone too far at this point. Something I never noticed. Okay. Something I never noticed before reading this. This time I noticed some new shit every time I read this book. Is how similar the Thurfir Hawat section, like how similar his mindset is to the Barons. There you see a bunch of there's like several repeated lines. Thurfir Hawat says like, oh, if they, you know, the full output of spice from this planet for 50 years might just pay for such a venture. It might. And then the Baron later says, if you squeeze Arrakis for every cent it can give us for 60 years, you'll just barely repay us. And Thurfir's assessment that the Harkonnens were like that they spent more than he was willing to imagine that they would, and then the Dead said, you know, the Baron line from the Baron, let us never deceive ourselves. If the truth is a powerful weapon, we know how we overwhelmed the Atreides. Hawat knows too. We did it with wealth. And think about how both of the Fremen or Fremen-aligned people we saw in negotiations this chapter, responded to the idea of Harkonnen, of purchasing wealth. The Fremen who was like, you know, all of the Harkonnens have not enough water to buy the loyalty of one child among us. I know people like that phrase because of the game that I haven't played, but there it is. Take it home with you. Ooh, new egg just dropped. Or I might have this egg already, but it might be a different egg. Let's find out. Nope, different egg. Neat. Some water, place with egg. The filtered water uses your food a little bit. Damn, I was hoping to find that lady today. But then the Baron fucks up. He fucks up because what is... Oh, that's my own shadow. I was just excited by my own shadow. He says the Fremen aren't worth considering. Which stands in pretty stark contrast to the evidence we've seen. The Fremen will be if there's one thing that'll never happen, it's me stepping on this rake. Oh no, I've stepped on a rake. Like real unforced error type shit. And Ravana's like, man, I don't know. The Sardaukar say, it's like, oh, those weren't Sardaukar. Those were the Atreides, and those were just really well-trained Atreides. Chump. I think we had a question last time about what is it going to be a big deal that the Baron that a Subnautica was corrupted, and he's like, no, it's cool. I'm just going to tell people it's a fake. Exactly. They did something that was literally thought to be impossible, but people's weakness comes from the quickest route to death on Arrakis is a lack of imagination. So yeah, it's exactly Hawat. It's like, oh, it's the same failure of imagination that hits Hawat again. It's like, oh, it must be the Lady Jessica who betrayed us. That fits all the facts I have. Oh, the Fremen must just be like a worthless rabble, because it's the people in the cities you got to worry about, because that's the place where the Baron is strong. The Baron sees that he's a useful tool presently of the Emperor. So but it's like the Baron is smart enough to see, oh, if you know, he's going, like, if I do too many things that make me seem dangerous to the Emperor, this seems pretty useful. I'm not back to the goddamn lily pads, son of a... That's not right. That's not the right place. I've gone too far south. Whatever that artifact is has made it impossible to read my beacon. Not that one. There it is. Damn it. Okay, yeah, the Landsrad. So there's the land. I got a name. I'll figure it. If I don't find it today, I'll find it tomorrow. That is a pretty storm, but I appreciate it. Okay, I need to head back north from here. The Landsrad are like, they're like the organization of the houses who support and are ruled by the Emperor. It's like they're like the oh, remember Game of Thrones? Okay, I was thinking Game of Thrones is like 7 kingdoms. There's like there's 7 kingdoms, but there's a king who rules over all of them. And it's kind of that kind of situation. They're each the rulers of their own fiefdoms, but they all observe certain tenets in their interactions. So the Emperor has broken a lot of rules that are supposed to rein in imperial power and keep this kind of thing from happening. I'm heading south again, son of a bitch. So the Harkonnens and the Emperor have colluded to destroy a potential rival to the Emperor. Shit. Love this music though. Doing it again. what is to stop the Harkonnens from squealing exactly? Which the Baron is very aware of the tenuousness of his position, because he now knows a dangerous secret about the Emperor. And he's seen what the Emperor does to get rid of threats to him. Himself. Things that might threaten his power, he kills them. So the Baron's stepping lightly. So let's take stock. Let's take stock of what we've learned here. Oh, and then his nephew comes and he's like, oh no, wait, that's the Beaster Bomb. He's thinking about his other nephew. He's like, ooh, I love that nephew. And unfortunately, it ends on the really lovely body, lovely boy thing. I don't love that shit any more than y'all do. So let's think about some of the big points here in this section. We got the fundamental difference between the Atreides and the Harkonnens, and how they draw people to them, how their types of loyalty. We're seeing the limits. We ran up against some of the limits of Paul's prescience, of his ability to see the future. We learned we see how the Fremen can destroy the Sardaukar. That's a big deal. That might be relevant at some point. Who's to say? And there's a lot of resurrection imagery. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of danger in the failure of imagination. And yeah, that's sort of about covers it. What did y'all guys dig about this time? I'm sorry if I haven't thrown that question to you. The guild is its own. So the Spacing Guild is basic. They're the ones who can. The power structure of the world is a triumvirate. There's the Emperor, who is backed by the Sardaukar, who are the most powerful soldiers, fighting like powerful infantry fighting force. There's the Landsraad, which is the collection of the not royal houses, but the noble houses, who all get a piece of Choam that they split with the Emperor, which is the profits from spice from Arrakis. So all this is situated on spice. And finally, there's the what am I looking for? Actually, you know what? Let me. I can do this real quick. Boop. I'm gonna just add a little window here. Let me just add a new source. A display capture. Window capture. Here we go. Add source. New source. Window. Nope. There it is. Here we go. Let me just explain this real quick, because it is going to be relevant. At the top, you have the boop. You've got the Emperor. Oh, caps lock. Too big. There we go. The Emperor, who has the Sardaukar. Oh, Sardaukar. He has the some degree. He sets the terms of stuff like Canley. There's the Judge of the Change, who's the Imperial. He seems to have control over of Planetologist, and he has a controlling interest in Shoam, which stands for like the Combined Honorable Order of Associated Mercantiles or whatever, which is basically spice profits. And then over here you have the I spell that Landsrad, which is like, yeah, that's like oh. So this is the noble houses, major and minor. These are like the ones that we know are Atreides, Harkonnens. They have some have some Choam profits, but some don't. A big thing that it was a big thing for the Atreides that they were going to get a slice of it. We don't get a clear number of how many houses there are, of who these other houses, major and minor, are. In fact, this spoiler whatever, in all of Dune, you only get the name of 3. Oh, I misspelled Sardaukar. Oh well, deal with it. You only get the names of the Atreides, the Harkonnens, and House Corrino, which is just the Imperial House. But it's like Shakespeare. There's implied lots more. This is hold on, I put this in a weird place. I didn't think about it. There we go. A little easier to see me. And then third leg of the tripod over here is the Spacing Guild, who is much more powerful than anyone is actually comfort with. They control all interplanetary. So yeah, the Emperor's House Chrono. Lord Finring is a minor lord. I don't know of what house. I just don't know. They control all interplanetary and transport, and by extension, trade. So the big thing that we can see here, the big thing to keep in mind, while it seems to be a triumph, it seems to be a tripod, a stability. In truth, whoops, everyone's power really comes from the spice. The houses that make their money are controlled by the Spacing Guild, but everybody needs the spice. All of this is reliant on spice, baby. This is going to drive me insane, actually, if I don't fix this. Hold on a second. There we go. Perfect. Nailed it. Everything's about the spice. Spice is everything. All of these other people's power is an extension of their ability to control spice. It's all about the spice, baby. You know what else it's about? Oop, get this shit out of the way. Beloved generous patrons, thank you so much. Y'all didn't realize this is ahead of thank everybody. It's new month tomorrow, so yeah. Although I don't think it rolls over each month. We'll see. I think it might be from the day you. But if you've been waiting, tomorrow could be a fun day. I don't know. It's up to you. Love y'all. The reading for next time we want to get to is get to the phrase, "Even the hawks could appreciate these facts," which I always want to read that line in a very Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Next time on Dune, even the hawks could appreciate these facts. From the perspective of an ant, is the world really turning? One who will enter the tunnel cannot give what they have not found. Oh, also, I uploaded all the previous Subnautica zeros to YouTube. It took me a minute, but I got it. So that's done. See y'all later. Much love. Peace out. They're on the YouTube. I know now some people watch the YouTube instead of this. So if you are watching this from YouTube, actually leave a comment so that I know.
Keep on keeping on, game worms.
I want to know who the YouTube squad is. And one more for the road. Peace out. See y'all later. Oh, I forgot to hit the end stream button. Phew. I was about to say a bunch of really problematic stuff.